All right, let's talk about another great idea that I really love and really helped me hear things, and it's what I call flat 6. So we all know, how to get a flat 6, but I don't know if we realize what that note actually does harmonically and how it creates, in my opinion, all the really cool chords. So say we're in C major, we're thinking A flat. Right? That sound is very common. You hear that all the time. Now this has to do with the parallel movement. You can go watch some of those videos, parallel key movement. But you can go from 1 is 1, whether it's major or minor, in the sense that it's blues, right? Blues, you play minor and major and minor. So check out some of those videos, but let's run through this. I don't want to make this lecture too long. You could really go in depth on each of these tunes, but this idea is flat 6 and the importance of it. And it creates all the really cool chords that are non-diatonic, the money chords as I call them. So it's what creates some of the most common ones are flat 2 major 7. It's very common if we are in C. Right? It's the ending that we do all the time. It's in a lot of different tunes though. Flat 6 creates half diminished 2 chord. Cole Porter style, right? Minor 2-5 to major 1, right? Watch that minor 2-5 video, Cole Porter stuff, parallel key movement. That'll explain it all. But A flat is in a D half diminished chord. That's minor 2 of C major. Okay. What else is it? Well, it's minor 4. It's dominant 3. It's what creates the secondary dominant that takes you to the 6. So if we're in C minor, or C major, go watch the minor 2-5 video and you'll realize minor 2-5 is 7-3 dominant 6 minor. So you have B half diminished, E7. E7 is dominant. Well, what makes it dominant instead of diatonic to the key, which would be E minor? Go watch the diatonic harmony video. Usually it's E minor. You add a G sharp, which is an A flat, sharp 5 or flat 6. That creates dominant 3. I mean, dominant 3 is important. It's secondary dominant that takes us to the 6 chord. Okay. Minor 4. Do that all the time. C major, A minor, 2, 5, 1. Let's go to the 4. That's what I did in the beginning. So that's what creates minor 4. 5-7 flat 9 for in C. That A flat up top. Well, that's an A flat, so it creates flat 9 from a 5 chord. It's what creates flat 7 dominant. So we do that all the time. Right? 6, 2, 5, 1 to the 4. Flat 7 dominant, right? No Greater Love does that. So let's jump into this. I've found a lot of different possibilities. There's more than 12. There's actually 26 of them. So the reason is because as you go through, the one has 2 different options. It can be major 7 sharp 5 or dominant 7 sharp 5. Flat 2 can be major 7 or dominant 7. These all use flat 6. So that's my point. There's 26 of them. I started to realize that note appears everywhere. And the thing is that it appears everywhere in conjunction with all these different root notes, which create all these cool chords that we all love, but we don't, I don't know if everyone realizes that it's the same note each time. Isfahan's another great one. We're in D flat while it plays. Straight D flat arpeggio. That A natural, that's flat 6 in D flat. pair it with B flat major, which is 6 major, well, you get this one. Ah. And that's what I mean by how important it is. It's what creates dominant 7 or a dominant flat 7, right? So if we're in C and we want to do C, F, B flat has an A flat in it. B flat 7 has an A flat. That's flat 6. So that's what I'm saying, is that it's all of the really cool, altered chords that we start to play that are usually non-diatonic. So what's interesting about this is you can watch the parallel key movement stuff. It's kind of another version, another example of this parallel movement, right? So when your ear, if we're in C and you hear, that's Thad Jones, A Child Is Born, right? Harmonically, that one does it. So what I tried to do in this chart is I tried to think of all the tunes that play melodically a flat 6 of the key that they're in, whatever the song is, and then play, a certain root note in the bass, and that creates a chord that is using the flat 6. So it creates a harmonic option including the flat 6 note melodically. So one of the coolest ones, in my opinion, is the Corey Henry version of Crazy. Now you can go check this out online. I got a little chart here that might help you. I'll try and link it as a PDF or something. This is kind of just one I wrote out real quick. So what's really hip about this tune is it's taking this idea and kind of flipping it on its head a bit, because what's cool about his version is the song is in C minor or C major even. There's a major part in there, which is, again, parallel key movement. The second verse goes to C major. We'll get into that, but watch. It's in C minor, E flat major. So what's cool about this is the melody is the same. Corey's using the melody in the same key. When you hear it, if you're a singer, you're used to hearing it because that's what the original is in. But what he does is he overlays harmony that's in a different key, using the same key of the melody. So by doing that, he creates this really cool harmonic sounds. And really what he's doing is he's playing as if he's in F minor instead of C minor. So that's kind of what, if you read this little blurb on the chart that I have linked, that's what he's doing. He's playing from an F minor perspective. And the melody is the same key as C minor, but we're thinking from F minor harmonically. And what happens when he does that is he creates this really cool movement. Which is, there's 6 of 6 again. You can check out that video. But this is kind of similar, like a caravan vibe, right? So the idea of this is, it sounds really good to go from, flat 6, 5, 1, or 4, 3 dominant, 6. It's minor blues, right? That's where minor blues comes from. Now, he's doing it in that style. Six of 6. So he's thinking of it from F minor. So what you end up getting is I remember when I lost my mind. Da, 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 da. Okay, that's hard for me to sing and play at the same time, kind of yell out numbers, but that's what he's doing. That's what's so hip about that reharm, is that the melody's the same as we all know it. Melodically it sounds the same. It's in the same key, same notes. Harmonically, he's thinking from F minor. By doing that, he creates, chords that work with the melody. So he creates this theme, which is in F minor, And I wrote it up there. You can see it on the screen. I'll link that chart. Now, what's really cool, and why we're talking about this, is he uses a really cool chord on the second verse. So if we all know this tune, the second verse in the original, it goes to C major. So it's, you know, I remember when, you know, you drive me crazy, but it down. It keeps going, and then you go to second verse. Right, you have this E note. So instead of C major though, because we're in F minor, what does he do? Well, he still uses that E note. And Corey Henry's playing this, which is really hip. So if we think of it from F minor, what you get is this A flat 7 sharp 5 over G. And now that's really cool because first of all, you get a really cool melodic minor sound. This A flat is coming from F melodic minor, which is the 6, right? Okay, 6 of what? Well, F is the, you know, the 6 of A flat major, right? So what is flat 6 in A flat major? It's an E note. And that's the note that's used. Da, 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 da. So you get that sound. Now this is really cool because this is the first example of one of the cool reharms that you can do using a flat 6, and it's major 7 sharp 5. So you hear that. We obviously can do a dominant 1 sharp 5. Now I need to find a song that does that, but this is kind of just a rough draft of this lecture, so hopefully this helps you guys. So what I did is I went through I found 23 of them, or 26 of them so far, which is wild. A lot of them have multiples, right? So like, for example, the first one can be a major 7 sharp 5 or a dominant sharp 5, right? So it's kind of paired up with different options. I haven't found tunes for every single one, but I have found tunes for a lot of them. So when I'm at a gig, I usually, you know, I see it when I'm playing, I'll just write it down on my phone. So on Green Dolphin Street, for example, for an E flat, well, that's flat 6 with a flat 2 in the bass, creates major 7. Missouri Uncompromised, it's an A. That's the chord. Well, look at it. It has a flat 2 and a flat 6. The flat 6 is important though, and it does it in the melody. So it's a perfect example because right there he's doing it. It's in the melody, and it's at the end. That F right there. So that F in the very end, I like to use as intro outro. So that's really using it right there. Social Call does it perfectly like it says in the 7th measure, so that would be right here. So what's cool about it is when you get to that part from the so I thought I'd pay a social call. So right there, you get it right there on that A over the D7. So that's flat 2 in D flat. So that's why I wrote that one out. That's what this one is. Now, if we keep going, you know, we talked about 2 half diminished. That happens in a lot of tunes. That's a very common movement. It's a very Cole Porter-esque movement because you can do minor 2/5 to major 1. So check that out. I Love You does it. Celia does it. The Bud Powell tune. Tenderly does it. SOS, which is a great West tune, does it. You Stepped Out of a Dream does it. What Is This Thing Called Love does it. Embraceable You, so on. There's a Harmonic Approaches or Within You and Night and Day, but you can kind of go through. Now, you can also have dominant 7 sharp 5. Now, these tunes do it. So this kind of giving you an example of all of them. So here's Cole Porter's I Love You. So when you do, so that one does it perfectly because you use flat 6 right immediately, which again, you can check out another video I have, which is really explaining that tune. So I don't want to get too much in detail, but if we look at, well, this first we're in F. I mean, look at, there's flat 6 over a 2 chord. half diminished. At the end of it, it also does the G7 sharp 5. So where you kind of do, so that's the end. So that's kind of where it's doing it. So okay, cool. Tenderly is another perfect example of this because it's built into the song. You know, it does it on the half diminished 2 chord. That's the one we're on. So let's just pull it up real quick. You can kind of take a look at it. So this one's an E flat. So if we think right, goes to parallel minor, which is cool. There's that note. Now here it is. Well, there's these are all the flat 6 with a half diminished 2. So it's really nice because it really helps you hear how that sound, the flat 6, is really everywhere. And it's kind of something that I think is taken for granted. Some people might not realize that's kind of the note that's really important. And honestly, the note after that is the flat 2. And this kind of goes back to the parallel key movement. I mean, what you're doing is you're just really just blues. You're playing, you know, for in C, you're playing this major sound, but you can also pair it very well with and flat 2. So I just used flat 6. There's flat 2. And you can always do, if you treat this as the 6, you know, parallel key movement, watch those videos. 1 major, 6. Then you'll see true Phrygians really from the 6. That'll be another video, but you know, this movement of how you hear things, the flat 6 is all these really cool chords. It makes all these nice chords that are in all these tunes. They're really like the motifs of each of these tunes, and to be honest. So flat 3, minor, or any of these I need to find. I don't have them. Harmonically, I found Foggy does it, but that's about it. Watch What Happens is another good example for the next variation, which is 3 major. And what it's going to do is, since we're in E flat, it's going to do it on the bridge, which is, you know, perfect. I mean, it perfectly kind of shows you how to do it. So let me try and find a chart so I can circle it for you. Here we go. So it happens right on the bridge. I think I wrote that out. Yeah. So right on the bridge right there. And it's going to create a G major. So if we pull up the chart, it's basically right here. So let's do the second half of the A. So that B natural in the key of E flat is a sharp 5, flat 6. Put it over a G, and now you get G major. So that's why I did that one. No Greater Love does on the bridge. F sharp note is in it, and it's harmonized with a D7. So it's basically 2/5 to the 6, really, right? So that's another good one. But you know, dominant 3, we talked about that. So there's a lot of tunes that do this. You know, you can kind of go through and pull up the chart for watch what happens, and you'll see flat 6 in the melody on the bridge. So it's really, really cool. Since the flat 6 and the melody on the bridge. Oh, okay, I see. They're harmonized with a 3 dominant. I see. Yeah, it does do that. So that's perfect. So I do it right here. Or not me, but the song does it. So there's the E flat, we're in G, all right? So when you play that, what happens? Well, you get, you start, you know, we all know you start on the 4. So just friends. So when you get, if we're in G, E flat is our flat 6, right? So melody and the chord is a minor 4. So that's why I used that one. What is this thing called Love does it? It creates another minor 4. So let's move on to But Not For Me, because this one's kind of a unique one. It's not really a perfect one, but this is the one I thought of. So let's just kind of go through it. It kind of breaks the rules a little bit, but who cares? So if we look at But Not For Me, let's see. It has the flat 6 in the melody, but it's harmonized with a 4 major. So, you know, you end up getting a C sharp. So right here on this first ending, you see it. So you have a C sharp, which we're in F. That's a flat 6 or sharp 5, but it's over a 4 major. You know, it's more of just like a passing kind of sound, but it sounds really good. So you get, you know, from the C minor. If we take a... So that's kind of why I included it. So it's kind of a unique variety of this. I need to find one for sharp 4. Again, we talked about flats. A 7 does flat 9. So where is that? Well, you have it in all these different tunes. So we have it in I Love You, Social Call, Lullaby, Birdland. This is a very common one. You know, dominant 5 with a flat 9. But you'll notice it. So check out I Love You. You'll kind of see how that works. Again, check out that video. Probably be even more clear. But again, flat 6 again is used. So let's keep going. That's kind of a common one. What is this thing called Love does it for flat 6, major 7, sharp 11. Human Nature is a very good harmonic example at the very end, where it goes to B flat. And there's different versions. Look, there's 4 different versions of this that include A flat or in flat 6, but you know, create different chords. So, which is very cool. I mean, so what is this thing called Love does this? You'll see it in the right in the melody, and the chord will you know, work perfectly with it. So watch. Let's do that one real quick. So let's jump into this one. So there it is. So you can see it. Uses flat 6 in the melody and creates a flat dominant 4 or dominant 6. Happens in the later part of the melody on the B section also. So usually played in C major, has an A flat in the 21st bar of the melody, and is what creates the A flat chord. So if we look at where that is, it's right here. So you end up playing, you know, on the bridge. So it does it right there. So, and it also does it over wave is a good example of the flat 6 diminished 7. So that's another cool one that maybe we can, that's right in the beginning, right? So let me pull it up so I can show you. That's a good example of diminished though. That's one that I probably should find another version of, which I'm sure I will. But let's find it real quick. So wave is another good example. I want you to see it, so you can always pause the video and kind of like work it out. See what is this guy talking about? Okay, so here we go. So right here, you end up seeing it right there. So if we're in D, B flat, the note and the chord is the flat 6. So that's what's kind of unique about this one, right? And it's a good example, right, over the B flat. So you get this cool. So that's another version of it. What else did I do? Social Call in a different part. So Social Call does it a couple times, which is very, very hip. So be sure to check out that tune so you can kind of see what's happening. Let's keep going. Isfan, one of my favorite ones. This one does it. It's really the only one I've actually found that does this note with this chord. So that's kind of a cool thing about it. So let me see if I. have it here. It's right in the beginning of the song. Well, there it is. There's your A natural in D flat. Well, that creates what? Well, flat 6 with a B flat in the bass, so that's major 6, right? Major 7 with a major 6, major 7 chord, or it's a 6 major 7 chord with a flat 6. That's a hard one to say. So let me pull it up so you can just see it and really study it. Here we go. So it's going to happen right here. So we're in D flat major, and it's right there. So that A natural creates, that's the flat 6 in D flat major, right? If we're in D flat, well, pair that. So that basically encompasses that idea. It's a very perfect example of it. So Isfahan's another great one. SOS does this. SOS is a very good tune. So let me pull that one up real quick for you so we can kind of see it. Let's see, it's right here. This is, I believe, a chart that I made, but pretty sure it's right. So what you end up seeing is it has a flat 6 in it. So you can kind of read through this, but it's really right here. So if we're in, oh, here, let me edit this so you can see. We're in E flat major. Well, that C flat is a B. Well, that's really where the flat 6 is. So, and what you end up getting is it creates it over, I'm sorry, that's for half diminished. That's another, does a different version of it. It's actually right here. Right, so C minor, you have this B in there, right? So that's kind of the part that I think I was talking about. So it's a very cool tune. So it's right there. It's perfectly over C minor. It's a really hip tune. So check that one out. Let's keep going. I don't want this to be too long, so we're almost there. I need to find one for this. This one's giving me a hard time. SOS also does this idea right here. So this is a very unique one, actually, because it doesn't happen too often. So let me go ahead and see if I can move this upward so you guys can see. Whoops. So let's press the right button. But here you'll see kind of the bottom of this. So this is for 7 diminished. So what I wrote on here is Wes Montgomery. SOS is a perfect example of this rare harmonic option with a flat 6 in the melody. The song is in E flat but uses a B note in the melody. This happens in the first part of the melody like we talked about, and it's used in a unique way. But the B in E flat, the B note in the key of E flat is the flat 6. So what you end up seeing is how he uses it over essentially a D half diminished. So this is kind of the first one I said. I didn't realize I jumped ahead. But if we look at it right here, it's kind of a unique example of it. So I think that's kind of what I was trying to kind of show. So I just played this line right here all the way down. So that's what is kind of showing it. And when you use that line is a perfect example. Not a lot of people kind of approach this. This is a very cool sound, right? Very hip. But using a B over a D half. D half is the 7 in E flat. Whoops. D half is the 7 in E flat, right? Which is the key signature of the song. It's really from a perspective of minor 6 chord. So that's what's cool. So I hope this helps. I just started to notice all these things, and I started writing them out one day, and I was like, wow, there's quite a few. That's pretty cool. So the idea of flat 6, I hope this helps. Really for me, it's the note, the flat 6, that is very important. And you start to pair that with hearing all these different reharms, and you start to realize, like, wow, it's always the same note. It's always flat 6. Oh, wow, there's flat 6 again, but over 4. Oh, there's flat 6 again, but over diminished, half diminished 7. Oh, there's flat 6 again, but over the 1 major 7 sharp 5. It's like, oh, okay. So you start to see all these. And for me, it helps make it easier because it's the same note each time, functionally, right? But when you put it over a different harmony, a different root note, it creates different chords. And so far, like I said, I found 26 possibilities. I haven't found them in the wild, as you would say, right, in tunes. But I think that this idea is very important because, in my opinion, flat 6, and more specifically flat 2 is the next layer, is very important. Our ear hears major 1. We hear all the harmony inside of it, right? Just check out the diatonic harmony. We can move around by doing secondary dominants, right? There's the same note. So look at, I'm doing 2 different versions right there. A flat was minor 4, and it's flat 9, you know. So it's the same note. You start to realize, and then what that does is like flat 6, when you start to hear that, it's hinting at playing in that parallel fashion, like I have some of those videos talking about. It's blues, right? That's what blues does. It's parallel movement, right? And, you know, major 1, 6, right? And more, you know, further than that is that's why true Phrygian's from the 6. And that'll be a whole nother video, but this idea. Let's speak no evil. So anyways, this idea of flat 6 is very important. The sound is everywhere. It's kind of what helps get us to this parallel movement that I hear all the time, aka blues. So let me know what you think. Hopefully this, you know, different approach to this sound kind of helps. And again, flat 6 is a very cool sound. I mean, you know, we can even do that's, I mean, I used flat 6 and flat 3. One of my favorite church little licks is it's using flat 6. It's that idea, so it's that sound. So you start to see it in all different spots. So hopefully this helps, and let me know.